So it's good to welcome you to the North Point online experience today, wherever you happen to be watching from. This continues to be such a cool experience for me. It just seems like every week I learn something new about online and digital and connecting with people. It's still a pretty big learning curve for me, as crazy as that is, but it really is a great honor to intersect with your lives in this way, even though many of us never speak and never get to see each other. It has been such a honestly, from my heart to yours, it has been such a privilege to serve you in this way and to know we are part of God's kingdom, no matter where we are, and especially even if we're not in the same room. That is not a requirement to be able to be partners in the gospel. We don't have to have the same zip code. We don't have to be in the same time zone, the same state, or even the same country. Still blows me away to think about it, where all the different people are who are watching. I want to take just a second and thank all the different people who have been making videos to welcome you each week. They are each of them are a part of the North Point family and a huge part of our ministry here. For you that never get to come here, I wish you could meet them, and maybe sometime in the months ahead, maybe we'll take some time and interview some of them so that you can get to know them maybe just a little bit better. I want to personally encourage you to be with us next Sunday, May the 23rd. And I say that about in person or online. Our own Ben Harris, a young man who grew up in our church, went away to Christian college, has graduated, is now beginning a new ministry, youth ministry. He is going to be coming back on next Sunday, and he's going to be preaching in both of our morning services at 9 o'clock and 10:15. If you are local, I want to encourage you to come, show up, show this man some support. I know we have for years, but this is just kind of a good way to send him off. And if you can't be here in person, you'll still be able to check him out here online. He'll be bringing our online message also. Can't wait for that to happen. It is going to be a great day. In the evening, we're going to have an ordination service, and we'll extend an invitation to you to join that also. It's going to be pretty cool. And so one last thing, if you are new to our online community, we want you to know that we are a group of followers of Jesus who share the Lord's Supper regularly as part of our worship. That's just what we do, even online. So I'd like to invite you to join us today. Stay here long enough. This whole thing will be about a half an hour long, maybe. And you need to go grab some juice and grab some bread. Whatever you have on hand, it'll work. And we'll share communion together in just a few moments. But for now, let's go to God in prayer as we begin our study. So over the past several weeks, we have been looking at various aspects of our faith journey, kind of how it works and what some of the obstacles are and things like that. And today, at least, I want to give you a perspective on how faith grows and develops, at least from my understanding of the Bible and how that understanding has formed my own experience of faith following Jesus throughout my life. There's a passage of Scripture in the book of Hebrews. It's really just one verse. It is chapter 11, verse 6. Prior to verse 6, the author has been talking about aspects of faith and continues even after verse 6. But there's this line, this one verse, verse 6, that I want us to look at. It says this, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." You know, honestly, seeking after God is kind of a curious thing. And we are not all the same. Our seeking of him does not always look the same as another person. But there are some kind of fundamentals that we all share together. Throughout my life, many who I have known used to seek God, but they just stopped looking. They used to seek him, but they just quit and got on with their lives. Their reasons probably as varied as every other part of their personalities. I think a common denominator for many of them is that they got really, really, really disappointed in their church experience. Look, I'll be the first to admit church life can be confusing. It can be unhealthy. It can even be dangerous to our faith. In my life, the list of those with painful church experiences, it's large. I mean, it is large, that list, and it seems like every year it grows. There are many people who are disillusioned in their experience with God because of promises that were made in the church about how God was going to act and how God was going to answer their prayers, and they ended up having this list of unexplained tragedies and suffering that didn't seem to match up with the teaching they were receiving at their church, and so they just stopped looking for God, stopped seeking after him, and began to seek other things in their lives. Here's a second, more specific group. Many people have become satisfied with an idol or a fake representation of God. We looked at we've been looking at the 23rd Psalm for a while, kind of off and on, and it's kind of why I have this sheep here to remind me that we're all just sheep. But the Psalm right after the 23rd Psalm in 24 may be just as profound as the 23rd Psalm. Verses 2 and 3 of this psalm say these words: "Who may ascend the hill of the Lord?" Or maybe another way to state that, for us at least, who are not part of a Jewish context, who may approach God? Who may come near to God in order to know him better? Who can do that? Who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not lift up his soul to an idol or swear by what is false. You know, idols can be deceptive little deities. People can become satisfied with a God they have completely made up in their own mind, a God that works for them. I've had conversations with people. They go, well, I know that's not how you understand God, but this is how I understand God, and it works for me. That is dangerous ground to stand on. Or maybe they become satisfied with a God who has been passed down to them from the patriarchs and matriarchs of their family. In other words, you grow up in this family, this is what we believe. And they get to be of a certain age and they go, well, you may believe that, but I don't believe that. Some really have no choice, and so they just go on believing that until that God really just becomes another idol. Or maybe, and this is really the most common thing that I see anymore these days, is that people are worshiping a God of their own intellect. And what I mean by that is that God really isn't much more than a rational idea or explanation for why things exist. They may not entirely believe in the whole Big Bang theory or evolution or whatever, so they kind of throw God in it and say, well, I believe in a creator, and that's kind of where it stops. And it satisfies their intellect, and then they move on. And really, there's another group, many who just don't seek. Really never did, don't want to. They were never encouraged to seek after God. Maybe they used to seek after him, but anymore they just don't see the point. It takes too much time. It's confusing. It doesn't make any sense. Certainly doesn't change my life if I believe in a God or don't believe in a God, and so I just don't seek after him. Life without God is maybe for them deeply satisfying or temporarily satisfying. A common phrase that I'll hear from people like that is, look, I'm doing just fine without God. If I bring this whole God idea into my life, it's just gonna confuse things. So, thanks, but no thanks. But there's a fourth group. And it's the group that I'd like to encourage you to be a part of. And that's the group that honestly and diligently seeks after God. Kind of follows in the line of that passage in Hebrews that says that God will reward those who diligently or earnestly seek after him. Those who God rewards and those whose faith does not shrink or stagnate. Join that group. That's a legit group of people that you can be part of. Throughout history, there has always been this fourth group. Generations, even remnants of people who honestly seek after God, those people that God gives to and pours out his blessing on, and they're able to see and experience those blessings because they are seeking after him. Those whose faith continues to grow and develop and deepen as time processes. The next line in Psalm 24, in that little section, speaks to the truth of this process, where he writes, that person who doesn't follow after idols, he will receive blessing from the Lord and vindication from God his Savior. Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face, O God of Jacob. This fourth group are those people who order their lives to seek the face of God, to desire to know him and be deeply aware of His presence in each step that they take during the day. To seek after God, at least to me, means that we pause, we wait, we humble ourselves, we act and believe that we don't already know everything, and we listen for the voice and the leading of God. This fourth group is a group that is learning to discipline itself to read the Bible. I mean, as crazy as that sounds and as simple as that sounds, that is a part of this process, no matter what. To seek the face of God means to choose obedience, to choose to think and act differently, even sometimes when it doesn't feel right. We still invest the time and we still invest the effort to read and pray and study and ask questions and surround ourselves with people who can help us and challenge us. That's the fourth group. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for you to join that fourth group. Maybe it's time for you to raise your hand and go, where's that group? Where's that group of people I can join in with? Begin to seek after God diligently, because I want to be the one that God rewards at the end of the day. So we come to the Lord's Supper. I want you to remember that it is not our faith that saves us. It is not our faith that makes us right with God. It is the grace of God revealed in Jesus that saves us. It is the grace of God revealed in Jesus that makes us right with God. When we enter into that relationship with Jesus, that awareness of Jesus, His presence in our lives, where we become able to taste a little bit at a time the greatness and the goodness of God. It's not our own faithfulness that makes us whole. It's not how good we are. It's not how hard we work. It is simply God's faithful presence in our lives that complete us, that heals us, that breathes life into dead bones. That's what God does for us. That's the reward to those who will diligently seek after the face of God, even when it doesn't feel great. We all have doubts. We all experience a distance from God from time to time, or even large blocks of time. We all become dry and spiritually empty in periods in our lives. We all go through really, really difficult times. And honestly, at times, our church life can feel meaningless and even become painful. I get it. I've been there my whole life. Culture will often ridicule us because of our faith. Prayer and study and worship can become an island of desolation for all of us. But remember this. As you eat the bread and drink the juice that represent His life, that represent the real presence of Jesus in our world and in our own lives, determine to seek Him anyway. Roll up your sleeves. Seek Him anyway. And trust that He will meet you right there and be a rewarder of your faith. Let's go to Him right now.
Who am I that the highest King would welcome me? I was lost, but He brought me in.
Yes, I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am.
As always, it has been fantastic to be here. I kind of run out of superlatives. If you could see inside this little room that I'm in, there's nobody in here with me. There's some lights, there's a camera, there's a screen. It's just me and you, and it is fantastic to be here. I am so grateful that you have joined us. And so as you go from this moment, today, I dare you to do these things. I mean, I straight up dare you to do these things. Don't be afraid to step out in faith. Live this week with conviction of both heart and mind in the things that you do. Seek the face of Jesus every day through the Word, through prayer, through relationships. Reach out for help where you know you can't do it alone. Don't waste your time judging or getting angry with others. And finally, love everyone the way that Jesus loved them. It'll make a difference in their lives and in yours. Until next time, see you.
When darkness tries to roll over my bones, when sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, when brokenness and pain is all I know, be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. Oh, my fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. Oh, shame no longer has a place to hide. Not captive to your life. I'm not afraid to leave my past behind. No, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. Oh, my fear doesn't